and welcome back. Today is Tuesday, April 1st. I have your 3 best bets for you in the NBA today. As always, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the page. We get an interesting 7-game slate to say the least. We're at the time of the year. We're less than 8 games for the majority of these teams. Playoff seedings, some of these teams have solidified it out west. It is the Wild Wild West still. It's that time of the year where a lot of these games that I'm going to be taking are pretty much going to be games that pretty much matter going forward. A lot of these games with teams that are tanking, we don't really know what playing time will look like. Might have some late scratches, or the games might just be a blowout. And unless there's a really good matchup on the slate there. But a 7-game slate here, just going to rattle them all off over for you guys. We got the Philly versus the Knicks. Used to be a great rivalry. Now, Knicks are a 14-point favorite. This game doesn't really mean much. The Philly has done what they wanted. They have moved down and down in the standings. And the Knicks, they're pretty much solidified in that 3 seed overall. So that game doesn't really mean much for either team overall. Portland versus Atlanta. This game means a lot for the Atlanta Hawks because they're in I think they're currently the 7th seed. They really can't move up to the Bucks unless the Bucks just completely collapse and the Hawks just keep winning here. But the Hawks have 8 games here remaining, so going to be interesting to say the least. Then Portland, this game really doesn't mean much for them. There's not really much of a way for them to make that little play-in spot. They're just playing scrappy and good enough for next year. But that game is a lot more fun than a lot of the other games that are pretty much scrappy dog. That's like the most non-scrappy dog tank commanding game out there on the day. 238 over-under, -5 spread for Atlanta. Fun game overall. Phoenix versus Milwaukee TNT game. I kind of wish they would change this TNT game. I wish the other TNT game would be the Grizzlies versus the Warriors, but hey, we're going to get Devin Booker versus Giannis, the rematch of the 21 NBA Finals. Overall, this game doesn't really mean much at all for you. Well, this game means a lot for Phoenix. They're in that play-in, but with Kevin Durant being ruled out and for how poor this season's been, I bet this game's not going to be that great overall. Milwaukee, they're currently the 6th seed. I think they're pretty much going to be locking that up overall. They're kind of, unless they just massively collapse here, I think they're pretty much the 6th seed going forward. Orlando versus San Antonio, this is a tank commanding game overall. Not the standard tank commanding game, but the standard, pretty much how today's theme is with play-in teams versus teams that are pretty much out of it. 3 of the 7 matchups are like that overall. Orlando, 4-point favorite. They need this to stay in that 7th seed overall. I think they can creep up to the 6th. Or no, they're the 8th seed. I think they can creep up to the 7th, but they just need to keep winning out in Atlanta to lose out. But Orlando, 4-point favorite, 220 over or under. This game means a lot for Orlando. Best game on the slate, Memphis versus Golden State. This game is chef's kiss overall. Ja versus Stephen Curry. Jaren Jackson Jr. versus Draymond. Desmond Bane versus Jimmy Butler. Fun matchup overall. 237 over under. Golden State, 5-point favorite. Golden State is the 6th seed, and the Golden State Warriors are the 6th seed. The Grizzlies are the 5th seed. They're a half game back from each other, so if the Golden State Warriors win this game, they are the 5th seed. They'll play the Lakers in round 1. Who wouldn't love that? If Memphis wins, they're still in that 5th seed overall, and they'll play the Lakers round 1. But this is a massive game for playoff seeding overall. Toronto versus Chicago. This game pretty much doesn't mean much for either team. Chicago's pretty much locked up their 9th or 10th seed in the NBA play-in. And Toronto, they're trying to lose a lot of games overall. And then Minnesota, Detroit, probably the 2nd best game on the slate overall. This is a massive game for Minnesota. They're the 7th seed. They're a half game back of the 6th seed, which is their game back of the Golden State Warriors. So this is a big game for standings overall. They want to get out of the play-in. This is a massive game for them overall. And then Denver, they're looking to hold off the Lakers and Grizzlies. They're a whole game up. So out of either team, I would say this means a lot more for the Wolves here than the Nuggets. But the Nuggets, they're trying to solidify their spot overall. But massive 7-game slate overall. Got 3 plays here that I absolutely love. And before we jump into today's plays, we got to recap yesterday's action. And yesterday in the NBA, just like today being April Fool's Day, it was a joke. It was only a joke, guys. Ha ha ha. None of those plays count towards my record, right? It was just a joke. It was all jokes. We were having fun. We were all like, oh, Chris, you had a great joke today. It was awesome. But, man, 1-3 day yesterday. Added the Jalen Green on Twitter. If you're not following me on Twitter, follow me at DaWiddler down below. Added play was Jalen Green. He only had 9 points in that game. It should have just taken rebounds, assists, because he was rebounding and assisting like no other. But Jalen Green fell flat on his face. LeBron James, 13.5 rebounds, assists. Was super pumped about that. Finished the game at 12. That one stunk overall. Coby White, that one was horrible as well. And then John Morant was the only one that was pretty much stress-free overall. John Morant had a great game overall, man. Horrible start to the week, man. That was brutal. I'm not going to lie. That was one of those where I was watching the Coby White, and I was like, this is not good vibes for here overall. But hey, today's a new day, fresh month. It's all about how you start today. And before, let's just jump into it. For my first play of the day, going to be in this Toronto-Chicago Bulls matchup. Hey, my bad habit is I'll always have a Chicago Bulls play. I'm watching these games here. And this man yesterday, he burned us down to the bridges. He had a tough matchup. Not really. I thought yesterday, last 30 games, OKC allowing the 9th most points. Thought it was going to be a decent matchup for him overall. But Coby White returning back to Chicago. He has a great matchup here today. So give me Coby White to bounce back here and make us up for yesterday's blunder. So give me Coby White to go over 23.5 points, coming at minus 106 on FanDuel. I kind of wish I can get the 22.5 that probably the majority of you will be taking in this game. Maybe even wait till closer to tip for the alt line 22.5, because I think this number might jump down a half point, but I'm not worried about it. Coby White, he's been balling out 4 for his last 5, averaging 26.2 points per day, and he gets a great matchup here overall. Toronto allowing the 6th most points to the point guard position. Toronto, these last 15 games, allow the 6th most points to the shooting guard position. In Toronto, these last 7 games allow the 7th most points to the shooting guard position. So overall, Coby White has a solid matchup here overall. He's got this over 2 for his last 3 against the Raptors this season, averaging 22.6, with the last 3 games him scoring 19, 25, and 24 in the last 3 games overall. He's gone over 5 for his last 5 home games overall as well, averaging 27.2 points per game. He's coming off probably his worst game of the season, minus 39 on the box score, plus minus. Played 20, I think he played how many minutes yesterday? Man, he played 26 minutes yesterday, only took 5 shots, had 7 points, was his worst game of the season, and hey, we took his over in that game. What a special day overall. I think he's going to bounce back in a big way here overall. I have him projected at 25 plus points overall. Last time he played a back-to-back, had 35 plus points in that game. Toronto, they're struggling to the shooting guard position overall. Lonnie Walker had 23, Jordan Poole 23, A.J. Johnson had 17, Brandon Pawzinski had 15, Johnny Juzang, one of the fun names in the NBA, 14, Jordan Clarkson 19, and Quentin Grimes had 29 overall. I think Coby White, he won't have back-to-back bad games. He's been pretty great overall last month, 4 for his last 5 overall. Has a great matchup out here again at home, so give me Coby White to go over 23.5 points, coming in at minus 106. On FanDuel. Jump into my second play of the day. Going to be in that late NBA TNT window game in the Minnesota versus the Denver Nuggets. 230 over under. Denver, 3-point favorite here. And we've kind of been targeting this guy all season when he plays the Grizzlies. And that's Rudy Gobert. Plays the Denver Nuggets. Stuck with the Grizzlies on the mind, but that's against the Denver Nuggets. And that's Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert has been balling out. Hopefully he doesn't get ejected like last time we took his over. So give me Rudy Gobert to go over 22.5 points, coming in at minus 120 on FanDuel. He has a great matchup here as well. Denver allowing the 6th most points to the center position, and Rudy has been balling out 4 for his last 5, averaging 30.2 points, rebounds per game overall. Denver, these last 15 games, allow the 7th most points to the center position. So overall, they've been struggling allowing points to the center position overall. Denver, they rank, Denver ranks 20th in points allowed inside the paint, and that's where Rudy Gobert takes that little 2K hot zone, takes 92% of his shots underneath the rim, and Denver is allowing the 20th most points under the rim, so it's a great spot overall. The last 3 games against Denver, he had 31, 28, and 21 points, rebounds overall. Going back to 2021, Rudy has a 59% hit rate against the Nuggets, averaging 24.4 points, rebounds overall. I have him projected at 30 points, rebounds in this matchup, 15 points, 15 rebounds, which is crazy, I would think, with the projection overall. But Rudy Gobert is going to have a big game here overall by my projections. And centers, they've been finding the little golden nuggets against the Denver Nuggets overall. Brook Lopez, 33. Sengun, 31. Steven Adams, 26. Alex Sarr, 40 points. What a game. Rudy Gobert then had 21 points, rebounds overall. Increased playing time these last few games overall. On the season, he averaged 30 minutes per game. These last 5 games, averaging 35 more minutes per game. So just the extra opportunity to grab a few more boards for us, or maybe to get away with one more dunk, or even a putback dunk would be a great opportunity overall. 4 for his last 5. He has a great matchup here. Denver allowing the 6th most points to the center position. So give me Rudy Gobert to grab those boards and points. Let me get Rudy to go over 22.5 points rebounds. Coming in at minus 120. On FanDuel, jump into my third and final play of the day. Going to be the 3-ball king himself in this matchup. This game means a lot for both teams here. Golden State, they're currently the 6th seed. Memphis Grizzlies, the 5th seed. 237 over-under. This game should be a ton of fun, and I think Stephen Curry is going to get out of this little shooting funk here that he's been in. So give me Stephen Curry to go over 24.5 points, coming at minus 105. On DraftKings, he has a great matchup here. Like everyone else today, Memphis, allowing the 3rd most points to the point guard position these last 7 games. Memphis, these last 15 games, allow the 9th most points to the point guard position. And Stephen Curry has kind of not been great these last few games. 1 for his last 5 overall, averaging 20.2. 1 for his last 5 against the Grizzlies, averaging 15 points per game. The last game he just recently played against the Grizzlies was back in December. He only put up 2 points, and it was a 50-point blowout. I think the Warriors are to come back with a big way in this matchup. He shot 0 for 7 in that last matchup, only 2 points. I don't think Stephen Curry's going to do that at back-to-back games against the same team overall. Minnesota, Grizzlies, that was 3 straight teams, not even saying the right one. The Grizzlies allow the 24th most straightaway threes, and Stephen Curry takes 60% of his shots from that straightaway spot overall. Last 5 games has been struggle. Last few games overall as well, he's been struggling. But last night game, played only 26 minutes. They were at a 40-point blowout against the Spurs. They didn't need him. This game here tonight, they will need Stephen Curry, and he has a great matchup. Like I said, 3rd most points to the point guard position these last 7 games overall. Only played 26 minutes last game, and this game is huge for playoff seeding, so I think Stephen Curry's going to step it up. He's a road warrior, 50% hit rate on the road this season, averaging 25.2 points per game. I have him projected at 26 points in this game, so we get a nice 1.5 cushion. And PGs have cooked the Grizzlies overall. Holiday just had 18. Gabe Vincent had 15. Luka had 29. SGA 37. Isaiah Collier went back-to-back overs with a 21-point bomb and an 11-point game. James Harden had 30. Anthony Simons had 22. And Malik Monk had 28. I think Stephen Curry, big-time matchup here. Memphis allowing the 3rd most points these last 7 games. He's struggled these last 5 games. This is a classic Stephen Curry spot. Massive playoff seeding game, so give me Stephen Curry to step up. Let me get him to go over 24.5 points, coming in at minus 105 on DraftKings. And those are my 3 best bets for you in the NBA today. Let me know down below, what's your favorite play? Am I doomed or boom? Shout out Big Justice and AJ. Today, a boom or a doom? Is it going to continue this fun streak? I don't think so. I think we got some pretty good spots here overall. Fun day of NBA action. Interesting slate, to say the least. A lot of these games are like the play-in teams versus the teams that are out, or there's some massive Western Conference seeding games here overall. Fun NBA slate. Let me know down below, what's your favorite play? Could be in baseball, NHL, or an NBA. Love tailing you guys in the comments section. Hopefully you're having a wonderful day. Keep on smiling, and I will see you in the next one.